Hi everybody, it's Jen from Caketastic Cakes. I'm going to show you how I made this XO The Weeknd cake, and if you see any tools or supplies that I'm using that you could use, if you take a look in the description below, you'll find a link that will take you to my Amazon shop. It helps me out, helps you out, and there you go. Alright, so what you're going to do is start with your cake. Whatever cake you've got going on, I had a two-tiered cake and I stacked them up. I iced them, dirty iced them. I stuck them in the fridge for a while, and then I iced them again and made them all pretty. And then you're ready to go. These are going to be your nice template to start with. I am starting with a white cake, or just white icing, as my base icing. If you want to do black on black, that would be cool too, but this is just what I was requested, and so that's what I did. And for the accents, I'm going to be using, of course, black icing. Now, I unfortunately don't have footage of me piping around the borders. I used a French star tip to do that, just a big one, and I'm using the star tip, regular star tip, to just make these stars all around the sides. And again, this is black icing, and when you're making black icing, be careful that you don't overwhelm it with the flavor of the chemicals of the icing. So I like to start with a chocolate icing and then add black to make it like a true black. It just works out a little better. But anyway, okay, I've got my little stars that I put all around the cake here and there. I put a couple of stars on the top as well. And now I'm just placing black beads in the center, edible beads, of course, into the center of the stars. And now I'm going to use a ribbon tip in my icing bag in order to make kind of like a lacy edge. And what I'm doing is I'm using a knife to just lightly carve the curve that I'm going to follow into the icing so that I have like a little, basically a track to follow when I'm piping. If you're uncomfortable freehanding it, because I pretty much nailed it, except one I got a little wonky on. And because it is, of course, black icing on white, you want to be real careful. You got to be perfect, or you don't have a lot of room for error or for fixing. If you're doing a black on black, then hey, mess it up as much as you want. But this is how I did it. If you don't want to do it that way, you're not comfortable doing it away, get a piece of string, a yarn, something like that, and drape it. And where how it lies, just trace it that way, and then you can pipe a much cleaner line, which honestly I probably would do next time. My little freestyle, it worked, but it could have been better, I'm not gonna lie. But I'm just using, again, just my flat ribboning tip in order to create this lacy look. It's almost like the vintage style cakes that are coming back, that are pretty popular right now. And I had spaced those stars on the side, so it was like one in the center, then one on the top and the bottom, and one in the center, one on the top and bottom, in so that when I did my draping, it would go between them and it wouldn't overlap them or anything, so be careful with your space. Now, I've rolled out some gum paste in order to make the decorations, and the decorations are going to be super basic and simple. And again, if you're doing just a black and white cake, just keep piping decoration, ribbons and trails and lacing. You'd be fine. But since this is the weekend cake, I'm going to be cutting out some letters and numbers in order to decorate using just gum paste. And I'm using gum paste because, as I said, it does harden up. It holds its shape. It's not like fondant that will stay soft and pliable. I'm going to have pieces that are sticking up on top of the cake, the one and the 8 that I'm making here for the 18 because it was our 18th birthday. And I'm going to do the X and the O in order to be nice and firm and straight. So that's why I'm doing it like this. So I'm just freestyling everything. Now, just because I'm freestyling doesn't mean I am going completely off script. I did look up the X and the O to get the shape of it as well as the heart, so I did reference it. You could always print out a template if you're uncomfortable with it. I don't know why, but there was a cherry in the picture I was given to reference, so I made a black cherry. I just made a ball and gave it a little butt dimple on the top, basically. The X and the O and the heart, I did outline with, or I guess I put some white in the center so it looks like it's outlined in black. And then when you go and put it all together, if you do have, see how nice and firm it is? I love it. So if you have some stiff pieces like that, you could put a little bit of fresh icing on the back of them to basically cement them or glue them into place. And that's what I did. Unfortunately, my hands are down low when I did it, so you can't see it. So yeah, I just cut it out because it's just the cake sitting there and you can't see anything. So yes, Got my X and my O, put it in there, just lovely. There's the heart. I had some crosses as well, some little crosses, and I just kind of put those hither and thither all over the cake. And when it's all said and done, you have a really, really cool looking cake. So I know this is kind of like a simple video, but I do hope somebody found it helpful. And if you did find it helpful, or even if you enjoyed it, please like and consider subscribing because that helps me out as well. I've got a ton of other videos out there, a lot of cake decoration making as well as decorating and recipes, so be sure to take a look. And as always, thanks for watching Caketastic Cakes.